Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October 9th meeting of the Planning Board of Dobbs Ferry. I move that we open the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Before we get started, because Steve Brosnahan and Peter Winder are not here this evening, we're going to elevate Chris Stohr to be a full member for this evening's meeting. The first item on the agenda is 164 Palisades Street, AHRB review for exterior amendments to approved plans.
Good evening, Michael Lang for 164 Palisades Street. I'm here to ask that it's okay that we didn't put the cupola on the roof and the trellis on the sides of the building, as well as we moved some windows and some doors from the original plan.
Now, I know you added doors sort of in that little short wall out onto the patio, the decks or the
balconies.
Balconies, thank you.
Right.
What else got changed? I wasn't clear.
So
The
two
plans.
windows on the cedar side were moved over like 2 feet.
Mhm.
Those were the major changes on that building. And then some of the windows on the smaller building at 87 Cedar Street, we just couldn't make the locations work, so we kept the windows where they were.
Okay.
Do you have, the drawings are very nice and very clear, but is there one place where we can see side-by-side cupola versus no cupola? Or what was approved versus?
So these are the approved plans that are on here. I just, change the page. So you have the current as-is plans, or as-built.
Okay.
So I think the bottom rendering on the screen shows what cupola would have been, which you can't see from Palisade Street.
I see, and the windows below it got shifted to the right.
The windows below it, sorry.
All right, so we're looking at your as-builts here, and the center windows in what elevation is that? That's the north elevation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the north elevation. Look like they shifted to the right.
Yes.
Okay. That's because of some interior or framing?
Right, there was an interior wall there.
I see. Oh, that wouldn't work well, would it? What else got changed?
So the sliding doors that were originally on the balconies were changed to windows. Functionally, they didn't work. One was coming out of a kitchen, one was coming out of a small bedroom. So it made more sense to put a single door where they are in the living areas. And-
Right,
And the right side sidewalk and
If you go to the
retaining
south
walls were changed.
elevation, you can see it.
yeah. We're in the west elevation. Yeah,
Yeah, see these?
Oh, got it.
Seems pretty minimal.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
So what is the, I mean, it looks good to me.
I don't have any
I
issues.
mean, I think it still looks really nice. What action do we have to take if they're like a new like?
Yeah,
'cause
I
we
have a new
approved it
resolution for you.
Just to accept that, these
Yeah.
changes?
Does anybody have any questions, concerns? Valerie, you want to go ahead and read the resolution?
Well,
It's not a public hearing.
So that's the current building.
Are we okay?
Oh, this is actually a photograph of what?
Yeah, this is what's actually there.
Think anybody's here?
I can- I can read the resolution?
Yes, please go
Oh, I
ahead.
didn't know.
Do we,
I think we're,
do we want any comment? I know it's not a public hearing, but it's the AHRB.
Yeah, no,
Don't you just take comment, but not?
does anybody
but
have
not a
anything
public
they
hearing
want
per
to
se,
say about this project? Speak to this project?
Just in case.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Please come up to the microphone and speak. Tell us who you are and where you live.
A.J. Dobbs, 38 Livingston Avenue. I have to say, what Michael did with this building is amazing. And this has been an eyesore with people living in it illegally on the lower level for years. Whatever that means, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I think it looks fantastic, and it only improves the neighborhood dramatically. And with the building next door, it's like a double thumbs up, I think. I just wanted to throw that out to you guys. I'm sure it's obvious, but
It looks like a win to me, too.
yes, I just, but
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Val.
All right. Whereas the applicant is seeking AHRB amendment to modify already approved plans, which consist of door and window location changes. The property is located at 164 Palisades Street. Now therefore be it resolved, the AHRB of the Village of Dobbs Ferry determines that based upon the reasonings and findings and reasoning set forth below, the application is approved, granted, subject to the following conditions, and it specifically refers to the September 3rd, 2025 plans.
I make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is 200 Ashford Avenue, continuation of public hearing for site plan approval for proposed new parking lot, rear building, and alterations to the first floor. I move that we open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hello, members. of the board. Good evening. My name is Elvis. I'm with Badali Engineering, representing the applicant. Since then, we made revisions to the memo that was last issued. We revised our plans, then updated cover letter addressing the comments on the memo.
Yeah, I think the changes are pretty clear and they look good for me. Any members of the board have questions or comments?
No.
Well, the landscape, you submitted the new landscape plan, right?
Yes.
And I guess I mean, I'm not an arborist or a landscaper, but in the drawing, I thought that the trees looked sparse. Because the arborvitae are very like vertical, I mean, they grow out a little bit,
Right.
but it looks to me like they're not enough of them to really create the kind of screen which we're trying to create. It looks like there would probably looks like there would be at least a need for one more on the, which side?
Got
The
it.
south side, and maybe one or two more along Ogden Place side.
Okay, we can
I don't
definitely,
think that needs to hold up what we do tonight, but we could make it like, I don't know what like I said, I'm not a landscape person. I don't know like what the right-on centers are for these, but just graphically, it looks too sparse to do what we're trying to get it to do.
okay, we can definitely look into that and how far apart they should be and how many more we should include. Definitely have that updated for a building department submission.
Okay, would you accept that as a condition, that those borders are fully blocking the view of the parking lot
Yeah.
once those plants mature? Is that an acceptable condition to add?
Sorry, would you like me to share the screen just so we can look at the plan, so what we're talking about?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
So, right, the goal of those plantings, you're kind of off the top of the view right now. And on the side are to screen the parking lot from the adjacent property and somewhat from the street. So Rob's right, if there's not enough, there aren't enough plants there, they're not going to do the job of screening. So we want to make sure whatever the solution is, that it does actually screen the parking area.
Got it. We'll definitely accept that condition. We can definitely add more, that's more suitable and also appealing to the neighborhood.
Okay. That's my only comment.
Okay? Chris, Lauren,
But
anything?
it's a public, is it
I
still?
don't have anything.
Okay, does our technical team have any concerns? Okay, building department,
As
Dan?
long as the condition is subject to the building inspector's discretion.
Okay. Valerie, you got that?
Yeah, I'm writing it up now.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anybody like to speak to this application? Donna?
Hi, Donna Cassell, 7 Ogden Place. I'm the house directly south of this property. At the last meeting, I brought up the landscaping and how if it's not in the plan, I know it doesn't exist. And this is a prime example of it. Because I've been working with, with the owners of the property. They've been very nice. They've been, very open and, to ideas and stuff. But this plan, which the architect is proposing, is not at all what I was told it was going to be. I was told there was going to be, and again, I'm not the arbiter of the plantings that go in there. That's your purview. But I was told initially there were going to be like boxwoods along the Ashford Avenue side, that there'd be arborvitae between my property, and I don't see, I may be wrong, maybe the
showing
plan's wrong, but I don't see any arborvitae, even though it doesn't affect me, on the east side of the property, on that property line, where the driveway goes right up to the fence. And as I said, that doesn't affect my property, but I do know there's a young family next door with kids that play in that yard. And, I don't know how good that would be for them, because they'll be looking directly, because these fences, which I think are very pretty, the galvanized fencing, aren't blocking anything for that property, next door. So I'm just asking that you guys look at it. I mean, you guys have done this 1,000 times. You know what it should be. It's just to soften it so that the neighbors don't have to look at a parking lot where there used to be a yard, even though the yard is a mess. At the same time, I'm very grateful these people are doing the work that they're doing. As with the other person said, this is going to definitely upscale the neighborhood, and I appreciate that. But I'm just concerned about the plantings to make it look cohesive with the other properties that are around it. Thank you.
So the problem I see with that, Donna, is that property line is right up against the parking spaces and the access. So there's not really room for plantings there. Is there a fence called?
I believe there is a 6-foot privacy fence there now. I'm not sure.
We could make it so.
Is it-
I'm sorry, the applicant, what's your name again?
Elvis,
Elvis?
yes.
Um,
But I'm sorry, to answer that, there is a 6-foot fence proposed on that side.
Okay, is it a full fence or is it an open fence?
So it's a galvanized steel fence, so it's one of, sorry,
It's not really,
it's these.
it's here right there.
I see, so it's open.
Although it looks like there's an existing fence, just looking at the aerial, is there an existing fence on the neighbor's property?
There, yeah, there is. right now, there's an existing fence there. It's a chain link.
No, the other
No,
side.
not there.
The
Oh.
left side,
Oh, the other side?
other side.
No,
The
This one.
east.
Yeah.
that side.
The east side.
Right. No, yeah, there is also.
And what kind of fence is that, do you know?
It's also chain link. We previously had proposed a wooden 6-foot fence and also a vinyl fence, but the board was against it, which is why we proposed this galvanized steel fence now.
I'm just looking at Google Street View to see if I
Yeah,
can-
I mean, I personally would probably rather have the nice-looking open fence, but it's a subjective issue.
Neighbor.
Not here, though, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's an existing chain link with slats right now.
I mean, the neighbors could.
With plastic, you said?
They're not here.
Existing chain link
Okay.
with slats.
They're not here.
But it looks like it's pretty
Unless-
overgrown, right? It looks like a pretty, I mean, I don't know if this Google Street View that I'm looking at is the most current thing,
Are
but
there any other neighbors here?
It's been cleaned up since
No, just to speak, with the neighboring person.
I'm not sure. I just looked it up on my phone. Looks I don't think you can see this. If I can pull it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but that's not on their property, that's on the adjacent property. Is that correct, that fence, you're not touching that existing chain link fence?
No, it's like it looks like this.
we're still seeing your drawings. Are you trying to show us something else?
Yeah, that's the chain. That's the fence that we're not touching that fence at all. That's on the neighboring property.
That's what they're proposing.
Mhm.
We're installing a new fence along the old fence.
So whatever the neighbor has is what it is, and this is the new fence that will butt against it, correct?
I don't know whether the fence on my side is my fence.
Right.
Well, your property line is going to get the arborvitae screening.
Right.
So it's really just the east side, which you brought up, which, yeah, I mean, right now it looks like it's covered with vines and stuff like that anyway.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's not in front of us.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've just, thank you for bringing it up, but I think we're just going to move on and run with their solution.
Assuming that they make the landscape screen.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Can I just add that the neighbor has a privacy fence right now on their side yard. And there's a rear yard planting as well, so both properties do get covered or will get covered.
Yeah, it looks pretty green, like pretty dense green. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but
Yeah, it looks, I mean, looking over your shoulder, it looks
yeah,
pretty,
it's like pretty
yeah,
dense.
there's a lot of
Growth on their
growth on
side.
on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I think it's really the edge with Donna's property and then,
I thought that fence was going, which is why I put it up.
yeah, and Ogden Place, which they've agreed to make the arborvitae dense enough to make the screen, so I feel like,
Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this application?
okay.
Anybody on the board have any other comments or questions?
Nope, I do not.
Building department?
Okay.
Okay, I move that we close the public hearing. Go to second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Valerie, we have a site plan resolution?
Yes, you do. Whereas the applicant is seeking site plan approval to increase the number of dwelling units from 2 to 3 and add a commercial space for a mixed-use building. I'm going to go down for, now therefore be it resolved, the planning board hereby finds that a proper case exists for requiring that a park be suitably located for playground or other recreational purposes. And the planning board finds in accordance with section 300-52J that one cannot be suitably located on the property requiring payment and payment of a fee in accordance with the master fee schedule for one additional residential unit. Be it further resolved, the planning board determines that based upon the findings and reasoning set forth below, the application for site plan approval is granted. The approved plans specifically refer to the September 19th, 2025. Other conditions prior to the planning board chair signing it specifically refers to that they have to satisfy the village engineer and all stormwater and stormwater maintenance agreements and engineering issues raised in the hearings and documents submitted to the board. And that the applicant must demonstrate that the proposed planting plan meets the 50% replacement requirements according to section 300-51. And that all proposed lighting must comply with section 300-41 of the zoning chapter. Then the conditions that must be met prior to the certificate of occupancy is the recreation fee must get paid. And then landscaping, this is where the building department will ensure the landscaping will thoroughly screen the parking lot when vegetation is mature. And that is it.
I make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have an AHRB
Yes.
resolution.
I'll make this one quick. Whereas the applicant is seeking AHRB approval, now therefore be it resolved, the AHRB of Village of Dobbs Ferry determines that the reasoning set forth below, the application is approved. And again, this application, this refers to the September 19th, 2025 drawings.
I make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you and good luck.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening.
So the next item on the agenda is 15 Lewis Avenue, public hearing for site plan approval for proposed retaining walls, new patio and pergola. This application has run into some technical issues, and the applicant has asked us to adjourn it until next month's meeting. I move that we adjourn to next month's meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is 33 Main Street. Continuation of pre-submission conference for referral from Board of Trustees for proposed new 16-unit apartment building.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just say for a second, the next meeting is on Thursday, November 6th,
Okay,
just for
thank
the
you.
record.
It's been a while since I've operated this piece of equipment.
Well-
Sorry.
While you're doing that, Valerie, what do we need to do to declare ourselves as lead agency for the environmental impact
You
study?
just have to declare
Okay.
yourself.
Okay. I move that we declare ourselves the lead agency for the environmental impact statement, or the EAF. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, take care of that.
So in terms of seeker, just to let this board know, so next month I will prepare part 2. I think it'll be good for us to walk through the environmental topics and identify ones that we feel that are still missing information, right? Or ones that we want additional information on. for this application.
Okay, so that will,
That'll take
Do that
place.
next month.
Yeah, next month.
got it. All right.
Okay. Hi, my name is Greg Sharp. I'm an architect. I represent 33 Main Street. And when we left off some months ago, we had sort of talked about next steps, and the next steps were to look at the feasibility of the project, to do some of the engineering, to create a boring report and a geotech report, and the constructability of the site as well, and to provide some additional renderings of the building from various viewpoints. And so for now, I could just start with the renderings from the various viewpoints, and then we could discuss some of the preliminary feasibility and structural and SOE drawings that I have created sequencing documents for. So this is the original rendering from the front. This is it showing it just from the other angle. These are basically left and right of the, directly in front of the building. This is a very difficult to read graphic representation of the area that does show where the various views of the additional renderings are. But basically they're as requested down the road, up the road, down Palisades, across the street, and up and down Palisades, looking back at the building. So basically from the two main streets, it's basically just providing some views from up and down. So this is showing it from up Main Street, looking down. You could see the profile of the building as you go down the street. This is showing the building as you're coming up the street from the other way. In scale with the other buildings, and just how it would look as you're driving up the street. This is it from Palisade Street. If you're looking from behind, this would be more or less, near the train station, near the exit to the train station. As the lots along Palisades get redeveloped, I would imagine that view would be substantially reduced or blocked. But currently, this is the current situation. This is it from looking, looks like from above on Palisades, looking over the community center. Looks like you can see the top floor of the project kind of poking out. At the previous session, we had done some step backs and some things to alleviate the visual appearance of the top of the building from the rear. We lightened it and separated it from the rest of it, but this is the rear portion of the building. And this is if you're just, I guess, more directly behind it, how it would look. And once again, this would be, once the 56 Palisades building is developed, this view would be mostly eliminated at some future date. I think this is just probably, this is most likely just going a little further, like down by the train station. But, so these were generated as requested to show what the project looks like from various perspectives. So, I mean, I think that was just sort of fulfilling that assignment. And then the next.
No, before you move on, thank you. That I think
Okay.
is helpful for me, and I don't know
Okay.
about the rest of the
Yes.
board members, but thank you for taking the time to do that.
No problem. Okay, so, let me try to zoom in here.
We have this drawing though, right, in the set that I'm looking at on my screen.
Yes, so so the first phase, what I'm calling phase one. So I broke the presentation down into 6 or so phases, or I broken the substructural site work down into about 6 phases. So basically for phase one, we kind of show the current condition of the site. So we did make a ramp, we did, get a boring drill rig down there, we dug a bunch of test pits, we did our, subsurface research and created this geotech report and also some studies of the current rubble front retaining wall. So we did all of that work with the geotech engineer under the advisement of a consultant structural engineer as well. So from that report, we developed, we developed conceptual what we basically need to do in order to build a building on this particular site, which is a extremely challenging site. So the general gist of the project is that we're going to utilize micropiles throughout the project. They're basically going to be between 16 and 20 feet deep, and they're going to be filled with concrete, and they're going to be spread out at various points in order to hold up the building and the foundation that will be above it. So phase one would be basically providing structural SOE piles along the north wall of the property, and basically creating a safe way to excavate out the top half of the property in order to create the approximate level that we need to start the drill piles. We are talking about drill piles, not banging piles, but in any event, we're talking about drill piling and doing a large SOE wall along the north side, and then that will allow us to set the piles along the front rubble wall. Okay, and then phase three, this is basically showing footing caps. So we have to then provide concrete caps on top of all the piles in order to generate the structural support that we need to support the building. Oh, let me go back. Sorry. Okay, and then this is phase four. This is, we're basically putting our foundation wall on top of those pile caps. And most of the variables at this point are really generated in the sectional view. So I'll go to that next to explain kind of what we're talking about doing with the front wall for the street in order to make that a safe transition.
So I just want to interrupt for a sec. So have you gone over this with Anthony? Is this stuff that you've reviewed, or are you hearing this for the first time, Anthony?
Well, no, they submitted a geotech report in this plan. You produced this plan, correct?
I did with the consulting engineer based on the.
Yeah, so we'll just review it in terms of construction phasing and sequencing. I don't know that we're gonna, review the technical aspects of the piled loads and so forth. That would really be beyond, that's for their engineer to do. So that's what's been submitted so far. We've got a whole other list of engineering comments that need to be addressed anyway.
Because I'm just saying, because I don't know if it makes sense for you to go through with us at this level, the kind of engineering stuff that you're kind of working out.
I think just like, understanding what they have to do and then just understanding the construction phasing is important to the site
but I
plan
think
at this point. But, or at some point. to
Right, but
understand that.
some of it, right, well, some of it I think would be, it's gonna be more important to also get a sense of like, how much construction vehicles are you expecting, right? What type of like, you know, how is it going to like affect the neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because this is going to be a little bit different in terms of construction.
Yeah, I mean, this is just more or less like, strategizing about the project and really talking about the construction feasibility of it, which is, why it's taking a minute is because this obviously all relates to dollars. How expensive is this foundation going to be to put in? And how are we going to deal with supporting the existing roadway? And so these are the kind of, high-level questions that we've been answering in order to come back and say that, we do have a strategy, we do have a plan, and the client is reviewing his numbers and his budgets based on that. And so, I think we're basically saying like we're okay to move forward with the project. We now have a realistic plan on how this building could be achieved. The last bit of just sort of like engineering that I find exciting. Maybe it's not as exciting as some other aspects, but basically we're showing to the image on the right. We're showing the SOE wall that would be required on the north side, and then we're showing a section showing in reference basically what we're talking about doing with the drill piles and the micro piles and how we're planning on supporting the foundation. And then as far as the front wall goes, the concept that we're talking about doing is we're basically talking about encapsulating the lower section of the rubble wall that's supporting the roadway. And in doing that, we just find that that's a much safer approach in order to do this. And rather than disturbing the entire rubble wall and taking it out, we can encapsulate the bottom in concrete, and then we could step the foundation over at the top of it in order to come up the wall and do it that. So this is just a bit of strategy on how to just make the project a little bit safer. And my feeling is it will also have a little bit less impact on the roadway and the town because we're not just removing the entire section and rebuilding it. That wall is 100-something years old. We don't really know everything that's behind it. We don't know all the particulars of what's going on in there. So, I feel the safest approach is to encapsulate it. So,
Yeah, because I think that the most, like, this project is one that, we're gonna see another one tonight like this too, where both the Board of Trustees and the Planning Board have to approve it.
that's right.
And I think that I guess the question, Anthony and Valerie, can I just want to, it seems to me like the next thing, the most important thing is, like, maybe it's already calendared, the joint meeting between the BOT and the Planning Board around this project. So I guess the critical thing for me is for you all to explain to Greg in order, like, for that meeting to be productive,
I think that
what has to get answered, like what?
19 Livingston has been calendared, not this one.
Okay, but we're doing the same thing with this though, right? We're gonna have a joint meeting, so I'm wondering how much of this, the engineering stuff that we're talking about now is not really our bailiwick particularly, but we want to have it straightened out enough so that it makes sense to go ahead and calendar a meeting with the
Right, Rob, I
DOT,
found
or is that
this
not-
kind of useful to understand, how they would go about doing the project. If
Yeah,
I start doing
especially,
calculations, I agree, we're down the weeds.
But they have to convince the BOT.
Well, the
Yeah,
one thing that
so-
hasn't been dealt with yet was the stormwater.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and that's going to potentially affect your site plan.
Yeah, the stormwater and the sewer, we're planning on, yes, we are planning on dealing with that. I believe the current approach is to take them to Palisades. So the sewer is definitely going to Palisades, and I believe we were talking about connecting to the street sewers or connecting to the street sewers on Main Street. So you are correct. I have to officially answer that and submit that document. That is one of, I think, the last major items that we do need to resolve. But currently, our plan is to take the septic to Palisades, and the stormwater can go either to Main Street or Palisades. We're not yet sure.
I think before you have any kind of joint meeting, our memo has to be fully addressed.
Okay, that's,
And Valerie's memo has to be fully addressed.
okay.
Well, and we also have a
Everything
county memo
considered.
and a landscape consultant's memo,
Sure.
right?
Right.
So we need all those issues addressed.
Okay.
This is one aspect that could be discussed. They're not going to submit the actual design. These are concepts at this point, based on a geotechnical report and recommendations. no reason to believe they can't do this. When the time comes, the support of the roadway, those designs could all be reviewed in much greater detail, actual structural engineering review, especially since it's supporting the village right-of-way.
Yeah.
And, you know, so those things will come in time, but,
But would that be after an approval, or is that, like,
Yeah,
that's
we-
kind of the concept, what
we were
comes
just
first?
discussing that. I think we have to kind of discuss that internally, to what level we want to see that,
Yeah,
you know, now. I'm not doubting that you can't engineer this. You know,
Yeah.
We could engineer a wall that's going to support the roadway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a matter of,
sure.
you know, how it's going to get phased and constructability, as you said.
I think also to deal with whatever easements are needed for the sewer or the
Yeah,
stormwater, that should be figured out.
yeah,
Right now, you showed a connection out to Palisades for the sewer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So that needs an easement.
that's right.
Is that in the works?
Pending easement, yes, it is in the works. There's definitely, part of this process is definitely those discussions. And so that is definitely part of what's going on, are those discussions. But like I said, it's sort of a juggling act. It's like, obviously, the client wants to move forward with the project. He needs a clear path on what he needs to do. You know, we're just, I think at this point, just trying to present the constructability of the project and the fact that, you know, we have sort of spent time and money sort of figuring these things out. Now, I guess we need to step back and talk to the village committee and you guys and figure out how do we sort of give them an approval so they can continue to spend money on it, or what do we have to provide in order
Right,
to,
so I think,
That's what you were saying.
right, so I think let's just talk about the legal process, right? Because I think there's a little confusion. So first of all, you do have the environmental review, which needs to be done and completed before any approvals are given. There is zoning variances that are going to be required for this. So that's going to also have to be a referral to the zoning board once the planning board and the village board feel comfortable with this particular project. And then you'll have to plead your case with the zoning board for the variances that are necessary. But the zoning board, again, cannot make a final decision until your environmental review is done. So you're not, if your client feels that, you know, they can't move forward without like something being absolutely approved, unfortunately, that's not the way.
no, it's not about moving forward. It's about spending money on a full set of construction documents and these sort of things. So I don't think it's about, like, you know, going to
Right,
meetings and
I don't
things.
think we're talking about construction documents,
Okay.
right? So you've got to at least demonstrate how you're going to deal with the stormwater.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
You got
absolutely.
to demonstrate a little more than just a line on the.
No, absolutely, yeah, we will,
So we got to see how that's going to work.
that's not a
We got to
problem.
get to at least a certain level here.
Yeah.
Before they can.
No
check
problem.
These
You're al-
boxes on the environmental.
Right, and
you know.
ultimately, you're gonna need the easements and stuff like that, because they can't approve something that, you know, doesn't
Okay.
have easements.
I mean, if you can't get an easement and you're pumping, I guess.
That's
on
right.
Main Street.
That's right.
So
Yep.
maybe you go with the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. That is correct. There is an option, as I said, so that is our
But
backup
the
position.
stormwater doesn't necessarily have that luxury. I don't know that you
Yeah.
can pump stormwater.
No, I don't think that's our plan, but I think we could probably get most of that to Main Street, so without having to pump it. So that would maybe split the baby. But anyway, you are correct. We do owe you the stormwater in that aspect of the project. So that is on our agenda. So I guess my marching orders are to wait for your document to come to me, your environmental review document?
No, you are creating, so.
Okay, the secret or the
So,
which one?
you will, so next month, we're gonna be running through any other environmental topics that
Okay.
still are outstanding. But a lot of it relates to the environmental topics that both Anthony and I have already raised.
Okay.
So it would be very good to have an actual memo with a response to our comments on.
Okay,
You know, and then plus the plans that do respond to those comments as much as possible.
okay,
I mean, I know the board wants to have a joint meeting. If you want to have a joint meeting just to talk about the architecture again, you already did that before. but at this point, I think it's really,
I mean, I think it
pertinent.
starts with answering the
Right.
memos, because all of those comments affect environmental questions.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. I will work on that. Thank you.
Okay. We'll see you next month.
Ah,
We'll see you next month.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is 19 Livingston Avenue, continuation of pre-submission conference for site plan approval for proposed 9-unit cluster development. Hi, Christina. No, I think I have them here, actually.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Christina Griffin. I'm a principal of CJ Studio Architects, and we're here for our third meeting. And we've submitted some other layouts for the site, and we also brought an additional layout, and we wanted to show you these alternatives. It was based on our last meeting. It was clear, and also we met at the site, that you wanted to see other layouts of the townhouses. So I'm going to take you through. The first plan we have here is the original scheme that we submitted in August. And this scheme was based on the idea of having, we had actually 3 view corridors, one down the driveway, one between the buildings that was 18 feet wide, and one at the corner of the site, the southeast corner. And I think we all know, and we all know from visiting the site, that that southeast corner gives us probably the best view through this site and even through the Cabrini property of the river, and it is close to the one of the gateways to the village. So we took a look at a few other ideas. This is our alternative scheme A, where we push the buildings on the north closer to the buildings on the south that are facing Livingston Avenue. So instead of an 18-foot wide distance between the townhouses, we have 8 feet. And I want to mention that all the schemes are based on 8 market rate, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath units at around 3,000 square feet, and 1 affordable unit. So this is still keeping the staggered shape that we have a staggered shape because it allowed us to have more views between the buildings. We have another scheme, we call this Scheme B. This is where we just played around with moving the buildings on the southeast side apart to get multiple just openings between the buildings. And this is the layout that we brought with us tonight, just to show the alignment of the units along Livingston Avenue. This scheme gives us just 2 view corridors, because now, once you turn the buildings, you are no longer have that space between the buildings that go for a view all the way through the site. But you have to really decide on what your priority is when it comes to views, because to get that orientation of the facades parallel to Livingston Avenue, we lose that view between the 2 sets of 3 buildings. But we actually really like the idea, because it is our general concept to give these units the look of individual small homes rather than one big building. So this view, this layout actually opens up the view on the southeast corner, which we know is very important. The buildings so we have two views. The buildings were moved to the north because we know if we bring the driveway down the back, we need to be able to get into the garage and Unit 1 at the very southeast end. I'm going to let Paul Petretti, our civil engineer, prepared these views through the site. He's right here if you'd like to mention. The study shows how at the two important view platforms, one on the northeast corner, one on the southeast, you can see straight through the site to the other side of the river. And this is just a view, a site plan looking at the neighborhood to show how the view that we will gain to the right does allow you to look through the driveway, through the site, because there are no other townhomes on the other side. Is this part of the site, which is the southwest, we don't want to develop because it's too difficult. We talked about it last time, is fill that we have to remove and replace. And then on the southeast corner, you can see how we not only have a view through this corner part of the site, but we will also, it really helps to open up the view through the Cabrini site, especially if we're able to work with Cabrini to see if maybe that wall can be lowered so that you could look over it. So, you know, this is the corner where it probably makes sense to have some kind of viewing platform, public area. Now, I just have these images because these are townhouses I designed in Hastings, and we have a staggered look because we wanted each home to have its own color and different entry door and, you know, really mix it up a bit. And this sort of, the ideas that we have in 19 Living Sim are similar. And in this plan, we had 5 units in groups of 3 and 2 with a gap of 8 feet in between. And that gap is really nice because it allows windows and light and ventilation into the end units that are facing each other. And this is done more, you know, more traditional way with porches and, you know, even though we might, we're looking at units that are maybe a little more modern, but the general concept very similar. And the layout of these units are the same as the ones we have for this project, where we have 23-foot by 46-foot townhomes. Now, I also wanted to see if, I think Paul wanted to have a few words about the site.
Just go back to the previous one. So in the previous slide, okay, you saw these red and blue lines, okay, the site, one apex. So take the units that first show 10 feet down, you'll have a pretty broad view to watch the driveway. Blue lines emanate from the driveway, the red comes from that triangle, which is on the southeast. You'll see, okay, 3/4 of a mile. So it's quite an expanse, you can see. So this is on the site, and then if you go back, okay, the blue and the red, those are the ones that emanate out and go to the Palisades. And that's it. Yeah,
I think I just wanted you to be aware of what's happening in that area because there's so much engineering that goes into the design of the site. So I'm just going to bring that up. Just give me a minute here.
So the last view that you just showed us, is that this scheme? the view sheds that you were portraying is this scheme here. Correct? Okay.
That's right there, and then those same lines project across the river.
Correct.
All right, just, briefly for some information, when you were out,
I have to share the screen again, hold on.
and I'm just going to run through these. Okay, so just for information purposes, over the years, I worked on both 29 and 33 Livingston, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Okay, and one of the things we had, we did have a slope failure behind 29. Heavy rain knocked the slope, went all the way down to the building below. And then finally, Robert's father-in-law, came in and bought the building. And then Nick Presta bought 33. And so we found, that the sewer from 29, which is immediately north of our property, was crossing 33, and they both went down a very steep slope. So Irene Ginsberg came to me and said, Paul, something's smelling, So we fixed it up, we found the problem, and then we decided, to just so you know that we put a sewer in. The sewer's, not in use now. We put 2 pipes, individual connections for each house, so that sometime in the future, and here is the future, we can possibly connect that to sanitary sewer for the 119 Livingston. And that's it. And I know some questions to ask is, what does the slope look like now? That's the residual of the slope now. Most of it, over the years, I had taken down, The previous person that was anticipating a restaurant there, I asked him to take it down because I just didn't want to deal with it. And you'll see why I took it down. So, just for an idea, this is on the north line between Nick Presta's house, which is 33, and that's, there are high walls there, for what we call, I call it Livingston Ridge. I don't know what they call it now. So the green pipe is a standpipe for the sewer because we had to run 29 Livingston through 33, and that's before the work was done on 33 Livingston. All right, so down below on Livingston Ridge, that's one of the high walls that's down there, that holds up. The one that this wraps around into the railroad, the view from the railroad track? That's that. All right, so we had, I just wanted to point out one thing that in the 90s, there was a lot of problems. And this is before, Livingston Ridge was built. Water was always coming down the hill throughout the whole area from, all the way down to Hastings. So this was a major project that was completed by Metro North. It's a big sluice. It's about 3 feet wide, 3 feet deep, and it was designed, you have the design drawings, I got the calculations, and it was a very nice design. And if you're in the parking lot of the Half Moon, you'll see the sluice. It goes all the way down to Hastings. And that's where all the runoff that comes down from Dobbs Ferry goes into the sluice. It goes under a couple box culverts that go into the Hudson River. So, so this is the existing slope now, in the northwest corner, that's what it looks like now. Some of this is going to have to be taken down because we're going to be building these retaining walls. All right, so we can go to the next one. That's what I had taken down. I had taken that down prior to you purchasing it.
Is it Rue's Bow Rivage?
Yeah, that was behind Rudy's Bow Rivage. But that's all down now. There's some residual there. So that's it. It's just give you an idea of the site, and that's where we're going to be extending and filling and building two retaining walls. So that's it.
I'd like to know if you would like to make any comments, and maybe we can go back to the schemes that we prepared and
Yeah, could you go back to the one that shows the views? It still has the buildings oriented in the sawtooth style, but it shows the views out to the Hudson from the north side and the south sides of the site. It's on the aerial, and it shows the larger.
Yep, I'm
So,
getting to
is
it, don't worry, I'll get to it. Is this what
Okay.
you mean? This one?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I want to thank you for like working on this. So there are like two, just to be clear about the view corridor thing. I think, if I can, other members of the board can chime in here. I think the idea, and the reason I'm intrigued by this is because I think the idea is it doesn't matter. It's not that there should be a lot of views. The idea was that there would be one big aha moment as you came to the gateway, right? So regardless of which way you turn the units, you know, and maybe we'll end up with it back in the sawtooth, I don't know, but there's that issue of the orientation of the units, but then there's the other issue of how do you create the biggest sort of aha moment? And I feel like this drawing is very convincing to me in terms of like, as you come in, you know, because this is where you really come into the village, and that would be the first moment. I was thinking, when we were looking at all the earlier schemes, I kept thinking, well, we have to put the units further south because we have the widened driveway and then whatever space we have. But I don't think that'll ever be as good as like what happens here, and it's closer to the intersection where everybody turns off and enters the village and so on. So the only thing that I have a question about with this is, can you get from Cabrini, how quickly can we find out from Cabrini, like, the extent to which they will let us clear out, it's not just the wall, it would be clearing out all of the trees that are not so nice, you know, to actually, because right now, even if you take the wall down, I don't know if you're going to see anything if all the kind of, you know, and I don't think any of them are great specimen trees that have to be saved, but you'd have to get with them to sort of be partners in clearing this view out. And so I'm wondering, how can we do that?
Yeah, okay, so I went to Cabrini, and it was August, and the manager went down to the letterhead, I had done, and, you know, so this man hasn't gotten back to me, but I'm gonna go down again, okay? I was busy, okay, you know, dealing with the views and making this mapping up and a couple other things. So I'm gonna go down probably tomorrow, okay? And I think if we could take that, you know, old block wall down, and there's a black walnut there, and somebody topped it, okay, historically. But I think if you take the lower stuff down, and there's a lot of vegetation along the current fence line between Cabrini and
Right, that
19.
blocks also.
And it's, you know.
Yeah, if some of that could be, and also, do I understand that you're planning on deeding to the village in some way, or making it possible to, that little triangular piece
Yeah,
would be part of the view, like that would actually be a place you could walk into and take in the view?
yeah.
That little.
Yeah, you could,
Yeah.
you know, it would be built up, there'd be a retaining wall separating it from lot number one, okay? You could put a couple permanent benches in there. It's sizable, it's not tiny, okay? And, you know, maybe even move the bus stop down
Yeah.
a few feet down. So I'm gonna work on Cabrini, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Is there any way that we can help with that, or is that not? a
I
thing
just
we
want, I
should
just want to make
offer?
sure that everybody understands that there will be tree permits that will have to be required
Right,
as part of
right.
that. So I don't necessarily know if it would be a directive for them, because if they decide they don't want to pull a tree permit,
Yeah.
Cabrini doesn't have, it's their property, so.
Right, I know, that's why I'm saying it would be, I like this drawing, but it really does depend on Cabrini
Right.
cooperating to create this view.
Right, but there is tree replacement requirements or a fee associated with taking down those trees for Cabrini. So I'm just,
But maybe that would be what, maybe in return for the getting some commitment from them, the applicant would agree to pay those fees or something.
right, well, I mean, also the at that point, if it's, the tree commission would weigh in whether they want the tree, so I
Right.
think that's I'm just raising the issue of Dan.
Right, because it would be an application from Cabrini,
Right,
and it would be their responsibility to replant half the diameter of whatever's removed.
Right.
Well, and there's maintenance, long-term maintenance issues too. If you're gonna depend on that as the view shed for the southern gateway to the village, it's gotta be maintained somehow, and it's not to your property, right? So there's a lot of extra challenges to that versus, I know, Paul, you say this is much more challenging to do than shoving the buildings to the south and having a view shed that's actually on this property.
Well, I think there's one 8-inch tree in there, and the rest of them are 3 and 4 inch. But let me go talk to them and see what they say, But it's just, there's a lot of vegetation on the chain link, there's a chain link fence between Cabrini and 19, and it's all intertwined with, not so great trees, there's nothing in there of
Yeah, I'm
high
looking,
value.
Sure, but I don't think that if we count on this property alone, that you're gonna get any kind of a wow view shed with the building structures where they are now.
Well, I mean, I'm showing you what you see is what you get over there, okay? And don't forget, there's a wall to be constructed, okay, between Cabrini and Livingston, and, so all that vegetation will come out. I think if that vegetation is gone, if you go on the lower side of the wall and stand there and look, you'll see a lot of the river,
Yeah, but isn't the lower left, the affordable housing unit right up against the property line?
Well, this takes those lines that are emanating from that drawing, they take into account that, that you're passing, the red line is on the corner of what is the affordable housing. Okay?
Right, but then you only have 10 feet between that and the Cabrini property line, and if they don't, want to take down their trees,
Well, look.
there's no view there.
Yeah. Realistically, okay, it's scrub bush, it is on the property line. So, I mean, listen, I'm gonna go talk to them, I'm gonna tell them, this is what we like to do, and I'll report back to you.
So Christina, if that drawing is blown up right now, is there a clear view shed between the two sets of tree in the front? If you blow this up, is there a clear view, or is that the back building block the view?
The red,
Right there,
they're lower.
the lower buildings, they're low enough where it wouldn't block the view from the street,
yeah,
correct?
there's an ancient building down there, okay, and you could see it when you stand in that corner, okay?
No, my question is, if you're in front of the buildings, the 6 units, and you have that 8-foot or 10-foot clear view shed between the two sets of buildings, is it clear all the way through, or do the rear buildings interfere with that view?
Okay, if I understand, yeah, I understand you correctly, mean, between the two sets of 3?
Yeah,
Okay,
like that one, obviously, no.
yeah.
That one.
Realistically, it's 8 feet wide. See, I wanted, the blue scheme was shown to you to take advantage of moving it, the units 4, 5, and 6, 8 feet to the south, to widen up the view at the driveway. So give more, that's a better place to get view. And then the 8 or the 18 between the building is, I don't know, It is what
Small.
it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think the driveway view is what the Board of Trustees is looking for based on our discussions at the site visit. So maximizing the view as close to where Livingston meets Broadway is what they're looking for. They have other plans as well to try and drive retail activity and other activity into the village. So I just feel like this, all these plans don't address that issue unless Cabrini is on board somehow.
Well, go to him, talk to him.
Isn't it, I mean,
That's a real challenge.
I know, Paul, you explained to me what's happening in the northwest corner of the site. But isn't it, I feel like if we could just get one of the 6 units, one more of the 6 units to the lower level, we could have, then it completely, I'm convinced that we would get, whether we wanted it at the south end or at the north end, we would get like we'd be able to get the kind of view that you're talking about. So I'm wondering if there isn't some way that we could just get one, have another unit in the lower area and have the 5 units close to each other. Maybe it's at the south end of the site, maybe it's the north end of the site. But I feel like that would you'd really be able to create this view, I think, that everybody seems to be after.
We have,
You could put another one here.
how do you do that? How do you get the, the radius for the fire truck to work? Can that be smaller, Paul?
Yeah, it's pretty substantial as it is.
Yeah, do we know, because, we would also, if you told me, well, I need it for parking, this is an area where there's, where we would entertain, I would like to think, but I don't know, I have to talk to everybody about, eliminating a space or two in order, if that was the difference between being able to get a unit down there and really open up the upper part of the site.
I don't think it's
We could
parking.
support that. I mean, is the truck radius, is that, has the fire department, is this something the fire department we
Well, I
know
mean,
is gonna insist on?
Look at standards and you come up with radiuses that,
Mhm.
It's code.
I'm pretty sure I checked it. So, if you wanted, we could take a look at putting one of them over here, okay? But I will tell you that, the people below are probably not going to appreciate that much. Okay.
Why?
Well, you'd be hovering over them. You would. I mean, that's my opinion, okay?
See, because it is, they have better views, actually, right? They have unobstructed, they're not looking over the roofs of the buildings below them. They have actually the best views, those lower units.
Well, they have a limited view because there's 3, 1, 2, 3, I think 3 or 4 units stacked. So, I mean, you
Yeah.
can see up the driveway coming in, they could see this great slope, okay? That picture where those junipers on the slope, that's their backyard, okay?
Yeah.
Not their real backyard, but that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe, at the time that it was built, okay, the place was built, Martin probably went over there and said, hey, we're gonna vegetate this slope for you. I think at that time, Mr. Curry, she said, go ahead.
So the code mandates that a fire truck has to be able to turn around in this?
Or they could do a hammerhead like they had proposed at the Knoll.
Oh, well, that makes a difference.
There's different
Well, hold
ways
on.
it can be done.
That's a different thing. If it can be a hammerhead, then that might enable something here that we're not, that takes away, that might change this radius constraint.
Well, I'm not too concerned. Listen, I could draw up something we could just put a unit up there and show you what the,
Because I think that just makes it, I mean, do you have that sense? Like if we had one more unit? If we
I
instead
don't, I'm
of
not
the
seeing anything
6
here that meets the criteria that I'm looking for and I believe the board is looking for.
You don't think if you took away one of the units and put them as close as you could together and put them, whether it's to the north or to the south, if that wouldn't open up enough of a view?
I can see it helping.
But you don't think it's enough?
I just think where the buildings are sited is blocking the view from the gateway to the village.
Well, it's, no matter what, I mean, unless you don't build anything up here.
No,
it's gonna
no,
block. So-
I know Paul says it's difficult to put those buildings on the north side of the lot, but
I mean,
that would solve the problem.
ain't gonna happen on my license, okay?
Yeah, there,
I've said that a couple of times,
Yeah.
okay? Looked at this, I've lived with this thing for 22 years, okay? That's a very difficult, you know, the county trunk sewer runs through there, okay? And, you know, if you start dancing around with the county trunk sewer, you know, you gotta leave that fellow alone. So anyway, that's the engineering aspect, that's the way I feel. I mean, I could draw something up, and do the same thing with these lines, you know, with the red line.
mhm.
I don't think you're gonna improve, I don't think it's gonna, I think it's gonna work.
So I think, I mean, the applicant is asking for a cluster, so I think you do have, you know, there are provisions in the zoning that specifically say that the cluster is is purposely being applied because it betters the site. So I think the applicant, I mean, I think the board has a lot of discretion on this particular application. Because it is they're petitioning to have the cluster applied to the site versus just as of right zoning.
I guess I mean, Alan, you have to, and others have to weigh in. For me, I feel like if there was a scheme where we had only 5 units at the top and had 4 at the bottom, in addition to the other ones that you're showing, and you showed the view shed implications of that, then I think the next thing to do would be to have this joint session with the Board of Trustees, because they're gonna have their own, they have their own ideas, as you say.
Well, we're
And I-
not getting anywhere here in asking for what I believe is our view shed goals. So maybe, because we're not the final arbiter here, maybe we need to have that workshop and say, Board of Trustees,
Right,
you know, are you willing to accept this,
right.
what I feel is a less than ideal solution, and see how they respond?
I think they may have an opinion about it, and I think in fairness to the applicant, the sooner we all get around the table, the better, because I actually do think that this could work. If we had the 4 units at the top and, or 5 and 4 at the bottom, and clustered them enough, I think we could get a pretty, like a good view. But whether, as you said, whether or not that's enough, whether the Board of Trustees, maybe somebody in the Board of Trustees will say, no, it needs to be really enough.
I mean, that would at least answer the question.
But, right, but I think we should give them, I think we should get it to that answer to them as quickly as possible.
I was just hoping to have some alternatives.
Well, they do.
They're 10 feet is all things are moving around here. It's not, there's no big alternatives here. It's just a little mushing around the same plan again and again.
Yes, I'm not.
But the alternative is having your neighbor agree to give you property and take down their trees. How's that alternative?
But we're saying that maybe it's
That
not.
would
We're saying
actually
maybe it's
provide a
not.
beautiful view shed, but it's complicated.
As a homeowner, it's a nursing home, there's a board, it sounds like just easy getting approval from them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Snap, snap. I mean,
I got it.
I know,
Okay.
just answer the question.
I've worked for them in the past. I'm gonna go over there.
But I mean,
Actually,
look, I
I'm
do-
personally, listen, I've lived there a long time, so I'm personally interested. Every time I drive by that wall, okay, you know, it's got a 50s look, be nice, okay? And if you get the trees down, you'll have a view, okay? I mean, I proved it over here. And so I can, you know, whatever you do, whatever gets maybe thrown back at us, okay? I can kick out these view apexes.
I'd like to make a few suggestions because we're really eager to move along make some
Yeah.
progress. And
Yeah.
we have not just made a few minor changes. We have also a financial plan that relies on having at least 8 market rate units and affordable to, because it is a very expensive site. And we have tried to minimize the size of them, but once you place them on the site, there are not that many options as you might think. But I would like to suggest that, yes, we can do a plan where we have 4 below and 5 above. We can even push the units you see in this plan a little closer together, so we have just a small break between the units or none, so that we have as much space as possible down here. And we could also do a scheme that has all 6 on top and then only 3 on the bottom, but they're moved northward to open up, to have a larger view there. And we can show you those schemes. I just feel like before we end the meeting, I think we need to have some ideas of what we can do next to show you. Because we're eager to meet with the Board of Trustees, have that joint meeting, because they may have other ideas.
Exactly.
And if we can prepare those schemes for you and have them ready also for the BOT, maybe a joint meeting would be a good idea, so we can get their opinions as well.
Yeah,
We do have a.
The meeting's scheduled, isn't it?
it is. It's calendar for
The 20,
the 28th.
Yes.
October 28th?
It hasn't been noticed yet, though, right?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So,
if
I was hoping that we would have a diversity of schemes here, and we could say, okay, we've got a bunch of things we can show to the Board of Trustees to get their feedback, and I don't see that yet. So if you say that you can bring those additional drawings that have real different view sheds to this 1028 meeting with the Board of Trustees workshop with the Board of Trustees, then I think we can go ahead with that unless
I think we should.
I think we should, yeah.
anybody
I wanna-
disagrees.
I want to smoke out how the Board of Trustees.
And that's at
It's
6:30.
time.
We can do that.
Yes.
I'd like to do that.
Unless anybody disagrees, let's go ahead and proceed with that.
This is for October 28th?
October 28th
At 6:30.
Okay.
at 6:30.
Here.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be good.
No, I understand, but the plan's down now, but you've got that affordable housing unit right up against your property line. I mean, that's going to block the view.
No, well, it's below.
I don't think so.
They're a story
It's a
lower.
three-story building, it's not that steep.
I don't agree.
Sorry? You don't own that wall, though. The Cabrini owns that. You don't own that wall. Cabrini owns that wall. No, not the block wall, the
old wall.
old
I
granite
get rid
wall.
of. I was gonna say, like, I don't know if you want to do this, but are you willing to do any of this kind of clearing before, like, between now and the 28th?
They
They can't?
Yeah, that requires a tree permit. You can't direct someone to clear.
We don't want to get
Oh,
ahead
they
of
could
the
apply for a tree
trustees.
permit then, right?
Brady would have to apply.
No, I'm not talking about Cabrini, they're talking about the
His
stuff, they're
property.
saying that there's a
On
lot
their
of stuff
site.
on their site that they think they can clear that would,
Take anything down until the site plan's approved. That's part of the site plan approval.
We can
Right.
also provide
I mean,
a
we could
section
apply
through the site, because what Rob was trying to tell you, Alan, is that the units below are at least a story below the units above. So we'll do a section through the site so we can take a look at that.
Yeah, if we could see a section of the,
Mm-hmm.
from the south, I guess, that shows the height of the lower buildings compared to the street level, that would be helpful, unless you have something like that already.
can you actually construct, well, you can, but I don't know if you would, like a digital model of the massing so that we could actually see what we see between the buildings or over the buildings?
We built a 3D model, we said a 3D model to you guys, I don't even know if you looked at it. That was $11,000.
When? I mean, we saw some 3D things that, in the previous submission. Do these show those? I remember them showing the massing of the buildings. I don't remember them being, you're standing here and here's.
Yes, there is a person standing looking through the corridor. But, you
Which
know,
corridor?
we have to pick a scheme because the 3D, you know, it's still, I wish we could just press a button. It's not that simple. It'd be better if we looked at the schemes and decide which one we think is the best one to look at, because the renderer can modify what we have to show what that view looks like. But we can't just do, you know, 6 different 3D views.
That's not true. If you build a 3D model of the site, you can fly around it however you want.
You can fly around it, but you have to, if you're looking at lots of different schemes, then you have to change each model.
No, but I'm saying take
Yes.
2 of the schemes or whatever and build them out and, you know, make the digital model. And you can be anywhere and fly
Yeah,
around.
we have
it.
a digital model. You can fly around. We have a spin around view. I actually showed it to you probably just briefly because we went back to looking at the schemes. And the reason we did it is the BOT wanted to see a 3D model very early on. So that's why we went to that level. But it's easy to change, but but to a degree, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
But something that may be also of value is doing the profiles, the sections, because
Well, she said she
the
would do
question
some.
you guys have is, can you see over that
The
building?
buildings below.
So you can't really see the, I mean, the 3D model, you know, you could be flying
Yeah, but you
low.
can get down to.
You could get low,
You can
that's
get- you can get to 6
a
feet,
simple
see.
profile through a line,
Exactly.
through that building, through that low.
I mean, that would be enough for me at this point. I don't, you know, we don't want to create extra work for no reason.
Alan is talking about the southernmost building in the back row. Could you see it, I don't know that you could see over that from the lower, you know, view shed. I don't know that it's low enough. Now, a profile will show you that immediately.
Right.
You're talking about the south line of the.
South line, the southernmost portion of the site,
Okay.
right? The south
South
property
property
line,
line
yeah.
between Cabrini.
The building Alan's talking about is the building right against the south property line, right? Close to the south
The
property line.
affordable unit one, right?
The affordable unit house. If you do a profile through there, you could see from the street level, if you could see over the building or not. Exactly. So I think that would be very.
Exactly. I don't think we need a 3D model at this point. We just need to see those
And you can have
sections.
multiple profiles like that.
Yeah.
Cabrini,
For Cabrini.
to the left of says, what was it? Cabrini, it's still the corridor of the trees to the south.
Views all in the line,
Right.
and more north, so that would be better.
See over.
I'm not
see
sure.
over- See to the south of it.
I'm not sure.
It's going to open up down to the south with the breeze, of course, but I think, you know, if Alan saw that, it opened up also
Oh, yeah.
widened
Is
to
this
the
the
north.
elevation you're looking for right now?
That's going
This
to
is
go a
the
long way.
last plans.
Yeah. It's not just a narrow strip
No,
on your
that's-
site.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Like from,
Yeah, it's still
so
pretty
I'm
high.
saying like,
Everybody, I think either the board should talk or the
Yeah.
applicant should.
Yeah,
talk.
okay, so do you have a
You want-
plan for what you're going to bring to the workshop?
I can
On
bring 2 more
1028.
schemes to the workshop.
Okay, with some sections that show
Yes.
the elevations?
Yeah. I mean, we already
Different
have them
structures.
already roughed out, so we
Perfect.
can definitely bring them by the 28th. for
You know,
sure.
we don't want to ask you to do extra things that, you know, aren't really helpful, but, yeah, we need to have, you know, this view thing is really important to this site, and I don't think we haven't been making enough progress on that, so
two stories.
let's see what we can do on 1028.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think a joint meeting would be good.
Okay?
There, and
all right,
So that
thank
we
you so
can-
much.
Oh, to
Vic,
move
Yeah,
on.
sure, please.
Here.
Okay, so my name is Vic Saricchio. I'm one of the owners of Livingston Ridge, 19 Livingston. And I have to say sorry for my voice. I had some surgery done, so. But I'd be willing to take the trees down. I was addressing Valerie, and she did what she did just now, which was turn away. But I'd be willing to take the trees down because there are no trees there. It's just brush. All that stuff that runs down the property line alongside Cabrini, those are vines. I was cutting through them the other day with something a little bigger than a scissor. So I could clear whatever you want cleared. There's no reason for me to think that Dobbs Ferry would, come and give me a fine or anything like that if I did that, except for the fact that Marcus Serrano told me to knock Rudy's building down and I'll help you get your permit. So there's an example. But I've been going through this now for 12 years. My nephew was in college when we started this. He's got 3 kids now. This is enough. I mean, do we have a plan in place that meets code?
Rick, well,
I'm asking you, the drawings that Christina submits, do they meet code?
Well, because it's a cluster development, as I understand it, there are additional criteria involved.
Okay.
And I haven't read that section of the code in a while, so that's going to be my homework before.
What you're telling me is they don't meet code.
well, it's not,
They
I don't understand.
can.
Why is that important?
Because if it meets code, then the discussions that we have are, I don't know. I mean,
It's not-
we've gone through, I don't know how many iterations of, let's shift the building 5 feet this way and 9 feet that way. Let's close up this corridor and make one big one. I mean, we can go back to the submittals that John Carhu made. And one of the suggestions that you guys have about moving the building in a straight line right down Livingston Avenue is one of the ones that you rejected that John Carhu drew. So, I don't know.
I mean, Vic, I have to tell you, I don't think going back through the history helps.
I don't want to because
It doesn't help us.
There's history that we don't want to talk about, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I mean, I just don't think it doesn't
I know,
help.
but-
It doesn't help us move the ball down. We're trying to get this, I can tell you, we want to see something happen on this site, and the sooner the better. And that's why we're pushing for this joint meeting.
Okay, I
That's why
understand
we
that.
spend time really looking at the drawings and trying to make constructive suggestions. We're not trying to be obstructionists here, trying to get the thing done.
Listen,
But in order for it
I'm
to
not-
get done, it has to meet certain objectives of the
And
village. They're
I
not overly
understand that.
burdened.
I
Huh?
do understand that. But who's driving the bus? You got, it's always, like, I don't see any suggestions that are, tremendously different than what we've been showing you. Like Alan just said before, you don't have anything in front of us that meets what I consider a criteria. Get your pencil out. Instead of us showing you, you show us.
No, that's not how it
That's not how it works.
You guys
That's
want to
not how
move
it
this.
works.
Listen, but you have to be, sometimes you have to, work outside the lines. And we've met you guys met on site a couple of times.
And I've made suggestions to Christina and, so, I don't know. We're trying to make it happen.
All right, so I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'm going to start cutting the brush there. You've sent me letters saying, clean up your property, and I've said no. So now I'm going to, quote unquote, clean up the property. I'll take some brush out so that you can see that fence line, most of the trees that you're concerned with are ours.
Just don't cut any trees
Just don't
down.
cut any trees.
I'm not,
What is the diameter that,
Alan,
No, that would be helpful.
the last.
that would be, I think that'd be helpful. Anything that you can do to show how the site opens up. would be
Okay,
great.
ask. I'm not a bad guy. Ask. I want to get this done.
No, I'm with Rob here. We want to see this site developed. We want to find a way to make it happen, but there are village interests
I
here that have
understand
to
that.
be looked at,
I don't
addressed.
think that, I don't know, I shouldn't say what I'm going to say.
Don't do it then.
All right, I'm sorry to take enough time.
So let's see what the Board of
I
Trustees
apologize
says.
to
Maybe
you.
they'll love your plan and we'll just start working on the details. But,
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I just want to mention, we have really tried hard to meet the code, but the thing that is hard to understand is what is meant by view corridor and how you accomplish it. So that's the challenge for us, but
I guess
we'll-
I feel like, I hear you, Christine, but I also feel like, and I wasn't around for the conversations for the original scheme, I think it's been pretty clear that the idea was for there to be a real moment, a view moment. I'm just saying, that's why, and I don't think that that's so hard to understand.
You know, I
And I
understand.
don't,
You
I
understand.
disagree. I think it's pretty clear. We want to knock out view at some point on that site. And that's been said many times. And I bet you, if you go back to the record, it was said 12 years ago.
So anyway, I think we're just
So-
rehashing the same stuff here now. We all have our marching orders.
Okay.
We'll see you on the October.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 210 Clinton Avenue, pre-submission conference for site plan approval for proposed renovations, including small addition at front of home, new rear deck, and balcony. As I understand it, the necessary variances have been obtained. Is that correct, Valerie?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
We'll see when they.
All right. Hello, thank you. Good evening. My name is Peter Altamari. I'm with Michael Lewis Architects. My boss, Michael Lewis, over there. This is for 210 Clinton. The clients, Bonnie and Jonathan, recently bought this property. They've lived in Dobbs Ferry for quite a bit. And they hired us to
Excuse me one
do some-
second. Could one of you close the door? Oh, thank you, Dan.
Sorry, guys.
And Christina, can you? It won't go when it's plugged into that one.
Oh, that TV's not.
It'll only go on that one with the laptop.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, it's okay. We can see it.
Yeah.
It's just a little
It's fine.
angled, so it's a little,
All right.
not as bright.
Our clients just bought the house recently, and they hired us to do some renovations and adjustments to the home. All right. The renovations are minimal in regards to additions to the home. We've proposed, there was a variance for the front of the home. I'll show that here on the site plan. On the front of the home, a little bump out for the kitchen. But the other additions to the home are all on the exterior of the home, actually. Removing the existing deck and installing a brand-new, larger deck, but with a little more space on the back portion of the home, and a second balcony off the second floor, which is the master, or the primary suite of the home. There's some other landscaping things that we're doing or adjustments to the property to rebuild a stair that's currently here. That's a kind of a mess from the main deck over here down to the lower deck. And we're proposing a pergola on the front here. We do have HEC involved. HEC did some drawings in the back of the set I'll show you at the end. That take care of stormwater concerns for the additional space that we're adding to the house for the decks. The decks are going to be waterproof decks, so if you're underneath the main deck, you can't get rained on it, and it will collect into drains and go into the stormwater system. Sorry, I'm trying to. We have a landscape architect involved as well. The drawings don't 100% reflect that yet. The client's hired Susan Jane-Tree from Aspect 120 Landscape Architecture. She's worked in Dobbs Ferry quite a bit over the recent years. And she's going to be putting together a more formal package for the next submission with the native plantings and proposals that she's going to be presenting next time. Let's see. Just walk you through. There's again, so the minor adjustments here is removing the rear deck of the existing home and taking away some of the asphalt of the existing driveway. The large, I don't know if you guys all visited, but there's quite a large asphalt driveway at the bottom that's you can park 15 cars in. We don't need that. So we are going to remove some of that asphalt to gain some of the extra coverage back. Keep going here. Some of the sites, just again, this was from the previous zoning board, just to show some of the spaces that are around the house in the front of the home. And then on this side, it just gives an overall view of the home and the addition that will be going on the back of the house here for the larger deck and the balcony up here. So some of the additions to the home, this is the first floor. This is the new main deck, which will have 2 spots, a seating area and a dining area with a barbecue grill setup, and some stairs down back to the landscape that then allow you to go back down to the lower deck. Again, the pergola in the front here and the bump out for the kitchen here. The spaces in this space right here and over here, we're talking architecturally now. The house has this very rustic old cedar shake on it, and we're going to be taking these 2 spaces here and adding a modern rain screen mahogany very smooth finish to it to offset, and we're going to be painting the house a darker color. The deck will also be mahogany. We'll have mahogany rails. All metalwork will be a black or dark black metalwork. All the windows in the house are going to be replaced. Some of the windows are 60 years old, original to the house, I think. They'll all be black metal as well. We'll be tying everything together nicely. The lower deck, as we rebuild the rear of the home here, we're going to be doing this covered deck over here for the spa. The clients are, I call it a spa. It's a little yoga gym with a treadmill and a little mini small bathroom that's existing. We're just reworking. It'll be a covered space, so again, they can do outdoor yoga and have some relaxing space outside that's covered that they can enjoy when it's raining out even. Again, on the second floor, we're proposing a little 6-foot balcony, or approximately 6-foot balcony, for some seating and pots and minor stuff, nothing crazy. Here's some of the elevations that we've put together so far. The rear of the home, with these large glass windows, we're replacing the existing again, all new windows, replacing them with a slightly different format. They'll all meet code. Oops, I hit something. And again, this area will all, because it's all glass, it will show up that it's all mahogany though, once in a different view. In the front of the house, you can see how we're starting the recess that's into the house. What did I hit? Will be mahogany. The trellises along the home. There's the pergola, and then this existing trellis that we're going to remove and replace will all be mahogany as well. And the other side views here. This is what I was talking about. The side recesses into the back will all be mahogany woodwork. These are the HEC drawings, so we've taken into account the stormwater collection that would happen with the addition of the rear deck, and they're feeding it back this way to a flat plateau over here, where they could add the cistern, the Coltech systems. We have materials that we've called out and paint colors. We are going to double check and finalize these for the next meeting. but we've taken that into account already, and some light fixtures as well. We put together the whole package of the specifications, if you want me to go through them, but I mean, they're there for you guys to review if you have any comments.
Anthony, looks like they're adding stormwater management. Is there an increase in impervious surface, even with the driveway removal, partial driveway removal?
There is, and they're collecting the, I mentioned it's a impervious deck. So they're collecting that and bringing it to the system. And the system was designed actually for a 100-year storm. So we didn't have any comment. We were fine with it.
Any members of the board have questions?
I do not.
There was some discussion about waiving site plan for this. How do the members of the board feel? It feels like it's a, pretty small change.
And an
I
isolated.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they're not right up against their neighbors.
Yeah.
Valerie, you on board with that?
Yeah, I have a draft resolution if the board wants to proceed that way.
Yeah.
For AHRB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Dan, you okay with waiving site plan?
Yep, we feel it's small enough, it's a little bump out, the decks are existing, they're expanding it a little, and was more concerned about the stormwater and.
Sounds like that's been addressed.
Okay.
So I move that we waive site plan for this project. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? And we have a resolution?
Yes. Whereas the applicant is seeking AHR, architectural and historic review, to construct an addition to the kitchen in the front of the home. Whereas the AHRB is familiar with the project site, and now therefore be it resolved, the AHRB of Village of Dobbs Ferry determines that based upon the findings set forth below, the application is approved, and the application refers to the plans dated September 18th, 2025.
I make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? You are good to go.
Thank you very much for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Sure.
It's like a nice project.
Thank you, guys.
No, they just did the AHRB, you just got to submit for building permit with the landscape plan and everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Our clients will be very happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, right, that's just a little different from the last one. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 44 Hickory Hill Drive, pre-submission conference for site plan approval for proposed expansion of existing deck.
Good evening. My name is Sam Vieira. I'm the project architect. Mr. Andrew Goldstein, the owner, is also here this evening. Just for the record, this project has been before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the two variances requested for a rear yard setback and a side yard setback were granted. And so therefore, we are now before this board for review. Essentially, what this is there is presently an existing deck that measures approximately 9 feet off the back of the house by 22 feet in width. And what the Goldsteins want to do is to extend the deck and wrap it around the house so that it connects to an existing stone patio on the side of the house. As you can tell by the site plan, the property has literally no backyard, and it slopes severely from right to left and from the back of the house down, and it's a corner lot, so it's odd as far as the setback requirements. You can see by the 2 front yard requirements and so forth. So anyway, what this project will allow them to do is, essentially be able to use whatever property they do have along the rear and the side of the house in a more convenient way by being able to traverse from the back door where that bay unit is over there off of the existing deck and to come around, excuse me, and connect to the existing stone patio. We are in receipt of Mr. Oliveri's comments. Just to address them, we are not increasing any impervious surface. If anything, there is a small stone landing that connects the existing stone patio to the house. That will probably be removed, and we're replacing that with a wooden platform. The decking is going to be your standard synthetic decking. Mr. Goldstein has this here. Your typical synthetic decking. This product happens to be a TimberTech product. and there will be some spacing in between and below the deck, or both the existing deck that's going to receive a new decking and the new one, we're just going to leave undisturbed earth. So there is no increase in impervious surface.
Okay, Anthony, was your engineering memo addressed?
It was just addressed, and yeah, it just wasn't 100% clear. Maybe just clarify it a little bit on the plan. It might be a mistake on your like area calculation list. Like one of the lines was the stone steps or something wasn't right, or yeah, just clarify that.
Okay.
It's open area under the deck and no increase to impervious area.
Will do.
That's fine.
Okay, it was pointed out that this site plan is, very, very minor issues, right? This is just an extension of the existing deck. So go ahead, Dan.
We would agree, this is good for a waiver.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm fine with waiving it. Members of the board agree?
I agree.
Okay, I move that we waive the site plan for this. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have an AHRB resolution.
We do. Whereas the applicant is seeking AHRB approval for to expand the existing first floor open wood deck. Where now therefore be it resolved, the AHRB of the Village of Dobbs Ferry determines that based upon the reasons set forth below, the application is approved, and the approved plan specifically referred to the plan set dated September 17th, 2025.
I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 91 Beachdale Road, pre-submission conference for site plan approval for proposed exterior alterations, including installation of pool, hot tub, and patios. Anthony, I have a note here. You have an engineering memo?
Yes.
Is there someone here to present it?
That's a good question. Is there anyone here to speak to this project? They're online?
Online.
While we're waiting?
Yes.
Yeah, just some minor comments on the design of the drainage system. Nothing too groundbreaking.
Okay. Christopher, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I didn't know if
Okay,
Anthony
we
was
can hear
finished.
you, so. Do you want to present?
Sure. Let me just pull this up here. So I am Christopher Schmidt with Neve Group. We represent the owners of 91 Beachdale. We are the pool contractors and landscape contractors for the project. So what we're looking to do here, pretty straightforward pool project. It's an 18 by 45 gunite pool located in the backyard here, an 8 by 8 gunite hot tub, as well as a small addition on the back of the garage to be a changing room and a bathroom. We're well under any coverage regulations, so we don't need any variances for that or setbacks. Really just a pretty straightforward pool and hot tub project, and we're just looking for some approval here to move on to the next steps. We did receive some comments from Anthony. I think if he was just referencing this, they were pretty basic. We did forget to stamp one of the plans, so we'll have that stamped, and we'll confirm that the drawdown was addressed for the pool into the infiltrator system. Upon approval of this, we can then go do the test pits, and then there's also a comment. Let's pull up his note here. For the drawdown cold tech systems, this be, we can add the detail for the overflow of the inspection ports, and then bring in the signed and sealed copy of the calculations.
Thank you.
Remember, was this house before us, as a house before this?
No.
No?
No.
I thought we
It's
had.
been there a while.
I thought we had something on this cul-de-sac.
Yes, next door.
There were a couple before it.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
removed the house and then they built
Okay.
it on the same foundation.
Okay.
Do members of the board have any other questions about this
I
project?
don't.
Okay, so just because of its proximity to the neighbor, I think we should call for a public hearing for the next meeting.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we'll see you next month for a public hearing, and you'll address Anthony's issues before then?
Yes, yeah, we'll have those addressed, if not tomorrow, then early next week.
Have you had any conversations with the neighbors?
No, I have not personally. We did, talk to the homeowners. They seem to be friendly with the neighbors, no issues. We did send out the notifications. Doesn't appear as though there's been any sort of comment. And we posted the sign, and they haven't heard anything from any of the neighbors.
All the lighting, like sometimes with these kinds of things, it's the neighbors don't want to be impacted by the lighting. I assume you're doing following all the dark skies guidance about lighting.
Yes, yeah.
Christopher,
Yes, it's all path lights around the patios.
the
So
the
all
other
down
thing,
lighting, no up lighting.
the other thing I didn't see was a pool barrier. I don't know if there's an existing fence around the whole yard but I didn't see a code compliant pool barrier.
There is an existing fence, but we can make sure that that is noted on the plan.
Yes, thank you.
With self-closing gates.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you next month.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for your time. Have a great night.
Thank you.
The last item on the agenda is referral for comment for amendments to tree preservation local law. I reviewed it, I actually talked to David Duarte about it, and I don't have any comments other than I think the changes are positive.
Okay.
Anybody
agree.
else have
Agree.
concerns, comments?
I read it. It's
Whatever.
fine.
So I move that we send a recommendation to approve the changes to the Board of Trustees. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there anything else that we want to discuss before we close the meeting? No? Okay, I move that we close the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.